I do believe we are live.
Well, hello, folks. Welcome to the Chris Cooking Nashville kitchen. It's been a while since we have been down here on a live stream, but here we are. And not only are we here, but the beautiful Ash Taylor is also here behind the camera helping me with comments tonight. There she is. Yes, waving at me. So if you are brand new to the channel, my name is Chris. I'm better known as Chris Cooking Nashville online. Lost about 130 pounds and hopefully soon to be more on a keto and then carnivore diet, and it's been a journey and it's been an up and down process of lots of learning, as weight loss journeys usually are. They're not linear, but we have done really well. I've lost about 130 pounds. My wife Ash has lost about 100 pounds doing keto, and we are now full-time in the depths of creating recipes, keto and carnivore, and just inspiring people as best we can and trying to spread the message of the proper human diet and doing all kinds of fun stuff trying to help people out. I'm also writing a cookbook right now that'll be coming out hopefully early this next year, and we've just got all sorts of eggs in that basket. So
yeah, it's awesome. Hey, by the way, it looks like we got about 43 people watching.
Excellent.
So please say hello, thumbs
Hit
up.
the thumbs up for us. Subscribe if you're brand new. We'd love for you guys to be friends and stick around and check out some of the other videos on my channel after we are done with the live stream tonight.
Don't be shy. Don't be a
Yes.
stranger.
Absolutely.
Do you want to go ahead and say hey to a few folks?
I'd love to say hey to a few people, and then we'll dive into some really great Cyber Monday deals. So hang tight with us. Let's say hey to some people, and then I'm going to tell you guys how to save some money on the most important kitchen essentials that I could find some great deals on for you guys.
Yes. I'm excited for this. Good stuff, man. Really, really good stuff. Richard Williams is here.
Hello, neighbor in Copper Hill.
Yeah, you got it. Sherry Nevada Pup is here.
Hey, Sherry.
Says hello, CC and fam. Hope y'all are having a wonderful Monday motivation evening.
Yes.
Yes. The beautiful Miss Miriam Bear is here.
Hello, Miriam, my friend. How
She's
are you?
the sweetest.
Yes.
Aunt Kay is in the house.
Hello, Aunt Kay.
Crow says happy December 1st.
What's going on, Crow?
Cooking in Nashville.
Yes.
Sean Bradley's in the house.
Hey, Sean, what's going on?
Juju B says, it's my birth month. I'll be accepting dinner, gifts, or Diet Coke all month long.
I love it. Good to see you, Juju.
Happy birthday. That's awesome. Emily is here.
Hey, Emily.
She says, hey, friends, I'm listening. We'll engage more when the little ones are in bed.
Love it.
And this is, I believe, a new friend. I've never seen this name before. Looks like Ron Went is here. Says, hi, all.
Hello, Ron.
We got Carol from Ohio watching.
Hey, Carol.
Chris Bear is also here.
Chris squared. The Chris's
squared.
are in the house.
They are here. They are present.
Yep.
He says, hey, howdy. Holly Springer is here.
What's up, Holly?
Terry at My Terrific Life is in the house.
Hey, Terry.
She says, hello, CC and family from really, really cold East Tennessee.
Yes, it is chilly over this way, isn't it, in this part of the country?
Oh, it's freezing outside, y'all. It's bad. Oh, this is awesome. So Carol says, my first live with you both. I'm so excited.
I love it, Carol. Where you stopped in for a good one, because we're going to talk about maybe not a recipe or a specific motivation. We're going to talk about tools that make the kitchen easier. So no matter how strict or loose of a keto or carnivore or any kind of diet, or even if you're not doing low carb, these are the things that make working in a kitchen so much easier for me, and I'm going to tell you guys about them because I found some really good deals for you guys if you get them today. So
I love it.
We're going to talk about it, but it's really, really cool. It's a great way to save some money while you upgrade your kitchen. Good time of year to do it.
Pam is here watching from Oklahoma.
Hello, Pam.
Brian is in the house.
Hey, Brian.
Marty Crum.
What's up, Marty?
Jan from South Carolina is finally back watching live.
I love it. Good to see you, Jan.
Good to see you. Gabby from Missouri is here.
Hey, Gabby.
Marty says the dressing turned out really good using Chris's cornbread.
I love it. That's fantastic.
Yeah. Crystal Carnivore says hello.
Hey, Crystal.
Ron says hi back to y'all. Hello.
Yes.
And Betty is here. Says
Betty.
hey y'all. Chris Bear says my friends say that I'm a tool in the kitchen.
Yeah, that's fair.
Also, I have a quick question from Cheryl Cobit 7599.
Yep.
If you're down for this. I think I'm deciphering this right. I think there might be a little bit of misspelling. So Cheryl, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe she's asking about starting creatine powder.
Yep.
What dosage to start and when would it increase? Can I add it to coffee or should I use water?
That's a good question. So now I'm not a doctor. I don't give any medical advice. This is just my own experiences, my own anecdotal things that I have done that helps my autism and ADHD and OCD and all of the neurodivergent tendencies. 5 grams or 5,000 milligrams of the creatine on a daily basis is where I have started. Ash is actually taking it with me as well because it does seem to be really especially good for women. So I do about 5 grams of a creatine monohydrate. Now, that is roughly 3/4 of a tablespoon. You can weigh it out, or you can just kind of measure it roughly. If you're somewhere around, 3/4 of a tablespoon, a little less than a tablespoon, you're probably all right. Probably try that for 4 to 6 weeks, I would guess, and see how you feel. And then if you're like, I don't notice any difference, you can maybe try upping that. It's not going to hurt you. There doesn't really seem to be much of a downside to creatine based on what doctors and researchers have been saying. You can put that creatine in pretty much anything, unless you have a nuclear reactor. I don't think you can really do a whole lot to it. I don't think you probably want to cook it too awful much because who knows what it would do. But you should be able to put that in coffee or whatever. Here's what I do. I get up in the morning and the very first thing I do, before I have coffee, before I have anything, I take water and I add my salty electrolytes to it. My salty link is in the description box. Go get yourself some money off of that because they're the best electrolytes in the world. Go get some salty electrolytes. I put salty electrolytes in water and I add my creatine to that, and the very first thing I do in the morning is I hydrate with my electrolytes, adding creatine. I also take TMG, which is trimethylglycine, and I take a methylfolate. It's like a folate supplement. And I do all of that because they're all precursors to the methylators for my brain. And my brain, especially being neurodivergent, really needs as much as it can find in the morning to like set itself up for, we're going to function optimally today. That has really helped me a lot, and the creatine has really helped with the focus and that kind of stuff, and my muscles recover faster from, just little things that I do. So it's kind of a win-win all the way around. But somewhere around 5 grams, 3/4 of a tablespoon is probably, in my opinion, which is not medical advice, it is probably a good place to start, I would say. And then 4 to 6 weeks, if you're noticing zero difference, maybe you might want to increase.
Yeah, great.
So, but that's what Ash and I take right now, is about 5 grams roughly in the morning. And I get just a little bit more than her. I kind of lean a little heavy, so I might get closer to 6 or 7 grams. But I'm bigger than she is, and I'm a dude, and my muscles might need just a little bit more. So
yeah,
it seems to be working really well for her, the amount that I'm giving her though. So
it does. I really enjoy taking it for sure. So
Yeah.
great question. Babe, do you want to jump in or?
Yeah, let's go ahead and jump in. We'll come back to comments in a minute. If you guys have questions as we go, drop them in the chat. But what I have for you here is, it doesn't look like a whole lot, but it's actually a really important selection of tools that are very important in my kitchen. Now, these are not the only tools that are important in my kitchen. These are some of the most important that I would use on an everyday or every couple of days basis. But more importantly, these are ones that I found really good Cyber Monday deals right now. The links for all of these things are in the description box. Ash is going to help drop them in the chat while we're going along as well. Go pick these up today before the end of the day while they are on sale, because these are the best prices I have seen on these various things all year. And I watch these things fairly regularly. So let me tell you what we got going on. First of all, the workhorse of any kitchen is a knife. I cannot stress enough how important a good knife is. And you guys know that I was working with Knife Saga and all that kind of stuff, and I still love Knife Saga, and that's great. But a new company reached out called Hoshanho, and they said, hey, we'd like to send you knives. We'd really like for you to work with us, and we would really love to send you this set and see what you think, have you do a review. And I was like, okay, sure, like that's cool. I have used these knives a couple of times, and they have been given the place of honor over here on my counter because they are absolutely as sharp as a razor, and the handles on these are perhaps the most comfortable knife handle I've ever used. Normally, this chef's knife is about $70-ish. I believe for Cyber Monday right now, this is on sale for something like $30 or $35. So it's like half the price right now. This is the Hoshanho Long series, which has this beautiful palm swell grip on the handles here. I'm actually going to be doing a video with these knives as the sponsor of the video coming soon. But I wanted to go ahead and tell you guys about them tonight because they are on Cyber Monday, all of these. And these knives are incredible. They have this palm swell, they have this really nice spot where your finger hooks in to keep you safe from the blade, and these are as sharp as a razor. I was cutting an onion earlier today, and it just blew my mind how this knife went through it like it was butter. It is the sharpest knife I've ever used. Really, really nice and very, very comfortable and well balanced. You can see it kind of likes to hang right there on my first finger, right where my first finger naturally falls, which means the blade is really balanced, which means when I go to use it like this, it doesn't feel like it's heavy on the front, which puts strain on your wrist, or that it's heavy on the back, which means you have to push forward and you can end up cutting yourself. It's well balanced. So this is a chef's knife. This is the workhorse of any kitchen. This is an 8-inch, just standard chef's knife, but it is fantastic. So like I said, it's like 30 bucks right now on Cyber Monday, 30, 35 bucks, something like that. Really fantastic deal. It's like half the price of what this thing normally is, maybe even less than half the price. You definitely need a good, solid chef's knife. It is the backbone of every recipe you are going to cook. So make sure you have a good chef's knife. That is linked down below.
I was going to say, it's in the description box. And then also, no matter where you're watching from, you should see an Amazon link pop up in your chat for every item.
Yep.
So if you want to check it out, just hit the link in the chat.
Absolutely. So that is the chef's knife. This is the closest thing I have to a meat slicer. This is slightly shorter than the meat slicer that I have linked in the description box, but they'll do roughly the same job. A meat slicer knife is really fantastic if you have things like brisket, or if you have a pork shoulder you want to cut into steaks, or you want to do a ham, or any sort of larger cut like that. Or if you want to use my video where I have a recipe for how to make your own bacon. Heck with the electric slicers. I partially freeze the pork belly and I use a long meat slicer and very, very sharp knife and do slices of bacon from a pork belly. Having a really good long meat slicer is really helpful in the kitchen, especially if you buy larger cuts, primal cuts, briskets, pork bellies, any of that kind of stuff. The blade is going to be long and it's going to be thinner this way, which means you have less metal to contend with as you do long slices across a large cut. So that's a really fantastic knife as well, and I think that's on sale for about the same price. Now I'll tell you, these Hoshanho knives, you can go to their just stuff on Amazon. Just click one of these links, go look at the knives, and then that'll help support the channel. You can go actually buy a whole set like I have over here. So if you really want to spend the money to upgrade your knives, a lot of their sets are on sale right now as well. But having a really good set like that makes a huge difference. If not, get these one at a time. Think about the things you cook the most regularly and get the knives that you need. And I'm kind of giving these to you in priority order, I think. So chef's knife, priority number one. You don't have a good chef's knife, you need to go get one right now. Number two, if you do larger cuts of meat, this would be your number two, like a meat slicer knife, and that's in the description. The next one, which can maybe be tied for number two, if you do a lot of cuts that are on the bone, so you get like bone-in ribeye, you get whole chickens, you get pork shoulder, and you want to be able to actually fillet the meat off the bone. A boning knife. So it's going to be a little bit shorter. It's going to have, again, a narrower blade, and it has this curved tip. It allows you to get in the crevices and around the bones of cuts that have an actual bone in the meat. That's really, really important when you are doing things where you might need a little bit finer tip work and the blade is a little more flexible, so you can also get around different edges. Now there's other knives over there. There's like a fish, like a fillet type knife. There's a Santoku knife. There's an Akiri knife. There's a bread knife for my carnivore breads. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff. So you can go look at their stuff on Amazon. Just click any of these links, and then you'll see it says Hoshanho, and you can go there and go to their Amazon page and see all the rest of the stuff too. They have a bunch of stuff on sale, but these are kind of just the ones, if you have nothing, this is where I would start. So there's your 3 basic meat knives. And then the only other one that I would suggest, like just right up front, that you really consider getting is a paring knife. And this paring knife, which I can tell that someone was in my kitchen other than me because it has something all over the handle. We had guests over Thanksgiving, so there are things that got splattered in the kitchen while I was cooking and while they were cooking. This is a paring knife, so it's a very short blade. But the thing that a paring knife can do is, one, you can do like little fine work on stuff and that kind of stuff for sure. But more importantly, you can do things like breaking down a whole chicken, where instead of using a big chef's knife, you use a small paring knife, and you can fillet each of the little individual cuts off of the chicken. Or if you want to do like I do with my roadkill chicken, or with my chicken ballotine, or any of that kind of stuff, a la French chefs like Jacques Pepin, you can take a paring knife and you can actually debone an entire chicken, leaving it intact and whole, but no bones. So it looks like a big old flat chicken that's been run over and has no bones inside of it. It's absolutely fantastic. Our favorite way to eat chicken. A paring knife will do that work better than any other knife out there. So having a small knife like a paring knife that allows you to do really fine work, it makes certain things in the kitchen a lot easier because you're not wrestling with a great big blade while you're trying to hold on to something like a whole chicken, and the paring knife makes the job just a lot easier. So those are the 4 knives that I would say if you have nothing in your kitchen and you start with those 4, you will have everything. If you're only going to get one and you have none of them, chef's knife. Chef's knife. If you don't have a chef's knife, you are not ready to cook. Those are absolutely amazing knives. You will not be disappointed in them. I am very much looking forward to really putting them through the paces in the kitchen because so far they're amazing. Now, if you have knives, or maybe you're going to get knives, and you don't know what this is, that's a problem, and we're going to fix that. This is a honing steel. This is not a sharpening rod, although some people will call it a sharpening rod, or they will call it a sharpening steel. It's actually a misnomer. This does not sharpen a blade. It does not take metal off of the blade to sharpen the edge. What it does is it has this texture around it, and when you drag the knife across it at roughly a 15-degree angle, so you would take the knife here, put it on the rod, hold it at roughly a 15-degree angle, and you would pull across and backwards. So from the base of the knife to the tip of the knife and going away from the sharp edge, not towards the sharp edge, away from the sharp edge. When you do that motion back and forth on both sides, the honing steel hones the edge. That's why it's called a honing steel if you call it by its proper name. And what that's doing is it's taking microscopic waves and rough edges and like weird spots, and it's actually flattening them back out. You can also get a little microscopic edge on a knife where it starts to curl over like this because you're using it against a cutting board, using it against bone, or whatever. It helps you straighten that edge back out, so all the way along the knife edge, you are using the very thinnest part and the very sharpest part of that knife. Every time I go to use knives, these I probably don't really need to right now because they're fresh from the factory sharpened. But after I've been using these for a week or two, every time I pick up a knife, I will run it about 7 times on each side across a honing steel because it keeps the knife nice and straight, nice and flat, nice and sharp. And you can feel the difference when you go to cut. Instead of it sliding across the top of something and you having to push down, you move the knife and instantly bites and slices down through the thing you're trying to cut. And it's all because of that microscopic edge being rolled over and then the honing steel bringing it back. So those 4 knives and honing steel will set you up to do a lot of things in the kitchen. And there are other knives that are also helpful, but if you have nothing, start with those and the honing steel. And if you can only get one, get the chef's knife, because without it, your kitchen isn't even ready to begin. Any questions we need to double check on before I dive into the next subject?
No, not really any questions.
Okay.
I was going to say they're really quick because you're talking about knives and all.
Yeah.
So your parents are here watching.
Hello, Mom and Dad.
And your mom said, let's see here. I got to use your knives over the weekend. I loved them.
Yeah.
Very sharp and well balanced. They immediately felt natural in my hand. No adaptation period at all.
Yep, absolutely. There's just a close-up of the chef's knife for you guys. Beautiful, and you can see the sort of the swell, the palm swell that's on the handle there, which is why it's so comfortable when you hold it, because your hand just falls naturally into it, and it's just very easy to use, very well balanced. And we don't hold a knife like a baseball bat. We use the thumb and finger, and we come here at the front of the handle and we pinch the blade so these other fingers can naturally wrap. We pinch the blade right there so we can use the balance point to control our knife. And these are so well balanced, it makes it very easy to do so.
We do actually have a question talking about
Yeah.
the honing rod that just popped up.
Yep.
Crow wants to know, what about a ceramic honing rod?
I've never used a ceramic honing rod. You would have to look at reviews. You could totally do that. I'm sure it would probably be fine, but I've always had good luck with these steel honing rods. So,
Okay,
but yeah, feel free to give it a shot if it looks like they get good reviews.
Mama Hand is suggesting for people about the honing rod, says, for honing steel, I strongly suggest a diamond compound. If you buy a good one, it will last a lifetime. It should be solid, not just a coating on a rod. I bought mine 50 years ago, and it's still going strong.
So a diamond coating on a rod would be a sharpening steel, not a honing steel. A diamond coating is actually going to take some of the metal off. So that would be a sharpening steel or an actual sharpening rod, which they do make. So if you're looking for a honing steel like what I'm suggesting here, I would not get anything that has a diamond coating, because if you don't know how to sharpen your knives properly, and if you do that every single time you pick your knife up, you're going to wear your blade out with no reason. I have a whetstone sharpening set. I have not actually gotten it out because I have not had a need to. But when it is time to sharpen my knives, I'll use a whetstone set to sharpen them. You can absolutely get one of the diamond-coated sharpening steels. You can do that, and a lot of chefs actually do that themselves, or they tend to just send their knives out to be sharpened professionally, because there are people that's their whole job, is they specialize in that. This that I'm linking here is a honing steel, not a sharpening rod, so there is no diamond coating on it for that reason. If you get a diamond coating sharpening rod, that's good. But that's a completely different thing that you need to know what you're doing so that you don't grind the edge off your knife.
Very important. I honestly thought
Yeah.
they were all the same thing.
Yeah,
So
they're very, very different things. And unfortunately, a lot of people think they are the same thing. And so a lot of people will get a honing rod thinking they're sharpening the blade, and then they don't know why it's not working. And then people will get a diamond-coated sharpening rod, and they're thinking it's a honing steel, and then they're just kind of not really taking that much time and paying that much attention or being careful about what they're doing, and then they grind some of the edge off of their knife and don't realize it. So you have to know exactly what you're working with. Neither of them is hard to use, but you have to know what you're working with and why. And that makes a big difference in the kitchen.
yeah, I have time for one more question real quick.
Absolutely.
Karen Hines is here with us.
Hi, Karen.
She says, do you have a chef background, or is it that you just love cooking?
I love cooking, and I am very, very well researched. I am very well practiced, and I am autistic AF, which means I watch and figure out the patterns of what everyone else is doing, and I have studied Michelin star chefs pretty much my entire life because I'm passionate about it. So I did not become a chef via the traditional route of either working in a kitchen and coming up under a chef or going to culinary school. I became a chef via self-training at home and learning how to do this basically through trial and error and research. That's my pathway to being a chef.
Love it. And Chris Bear says, autistic AF equals autistic and friendly.
Yes.
There you go. Awesome. Yeah, so what else do you got over there for us?
All right, so that's our knives. So there's two. I mean, I have a whole bunch of different kinds of skillets and pans in the kitchen, but there's really two. that I would suggest you have if you want to be able to do pretty much everything. So the first one here is the trusty old cast iron. Good old Lodge cast iron pans. These are very in need of a wipeout because there's a little bit of excess grease in this one. Anyway, grease keeps it from rusting. So these are very durable. They will last a lifetime if you take care of them well. They're heavy bottom. You can put those on a burner, and you can crank that skillet to extremely high heat. It is perfect for searing things. It is good for cooking meats that are thick and heavy, where you need a skillet or a pan or something where the heat will not be instantly zapped away from it. So like, for example, if you wanted to fry chicken, having a deep cast iron skillet would be a really great way of doing it, because when you go to put something in, say you were frying in beef tallow, if you go to put it in beef tallow, you don't want the chicken that you would put down in there to suck all of the heat out of that and then have your oil, your fat you're cooking in be too cold, because then everything gets soggy and mushy. If you use something heavy duty like cast iron, it hangs on to more of that residual heat, and so when you put food in there, it does not just immediately zap all the heat, because the skillet itself holds on to more heat. So it maintains a more even and stable temperature. You can put them in the oven, so you can sear on one side, flip something over, put it in the oven, and roast finish. There's a lot of different chefy techniques you can do with a cast iron skillet because it can handle all of that. Speaking of fried chicken, guys, get ready for this coming Saturday. So that's a really fantastic skillet to do a lot of different things. And you can do skillets, you can do pots, you can do griddles. They have all different kinds of stuff, but I work with Lodge. Ash has, I think, dropped the link for the Lodge cast iron there. You can go there, get any and every kind of cookware that you could want. Lodge is fantastic. Are they the greatest cast iron in the world? I don't know. I haven't tried all of them. They are very good for what they are, and they do a great job for me, and they are very budget friendly for cast iron, and that's good enough for me. So, you know, if you have another brand out there you love, or you got an old, like, passed down through the family cast iron, fantastic. But I really enjoy using Lodge. So cast iron cookware is a really big deal. There's so many things you can do with it, and that heavy bottom allows you to retain so much of the residual heat that it cooks in a very specific way that you really need in the kitchen. This is the other kind of cookware. Some non-stick cookware. This is a set by a company called Sensarte, and it's a whole set. This is just one of the pans, but it has like 2 skillets, and it has like a stock pot kind of thing, and it has a large fry pan, and it has a little saucepan. It's fantastic, and this is a ceramic style Swiss coating is what they call it. I don't really know what that is, but it does a really fantastic job. And I actually just saw an article on Google. This is maybe 4 or 5 days ago now, I guess, 3, 4, 5 days ago, where a company that does such things got a whole bunch of different non-stick cookware, and they tested it to see what was their favorite. And Sensarte was actually their #1 pick. I've been using these Sensarte pans for a long time now, and when I saw that article and I read it, I was like, okay, obviously I made a good choice, and it's also not in my head that these seem to be doing a good job. They're also very budget friendly, because eventually nonstick just does seem to wear out no matter what you do. You want to make it last as long as possible, but it probably will eventually not work as well, and you'll have to replace it. That's just kind of this nature of the coating, whatever that is, be it ceramic or any other kind of non-stick. Eventually something is just going to start to stick to that, and you're just going to have to replace it. That's kind of just what it is. So these are really budget friendly, but they're really durable. They do a good job. And as non-stick cookware goes, they're not the thin little aluminum non-stick stuff that doesn't hold on to heat. They are heavier than a typical non-stick cookware in terms of the thickness of the metal, and they're also induction compatible. So I can use them on the induction burners that I use when we film. That's why I ended up getting them in the first place. And because they're a little heavier and induction friendly, they seem to hold on to, again, more of that residual heat. So when you put food in it, it doesn't just instantly make the pan go cold and then make it struggle for you to cook properly. So non-stick cookware, fantastic. I don't use it a lot, but there are certain things, nothing else is going to do it the way nonstick cookware does. Just, you want to do something like a French omelet, it is not going to happen with anything but nonstick cookware. It's just not. It's just not going to happen because you need a really low temperature and you need to keep things moving and you need to have it not stick, not because it's already formed a skin and released, because by that point it starts to brown and a French omelet is not browned. So there's certain things with like eggs and different kinds of stuff that a skillet like that is the only way you're ever going to get it done, and these do a fantastic job. So 2 kinds of cookware: cast iron, non-stick. Those are the 2. Now you can get stainless steel and you know, some other things, some hybrids and stuff. Those are all absolutely valid. If you want to get a whole bunch of stuff in your kitchen, you can do that. But if I only had 2 and that's all I could cook with, it would be these 2 sets: a set of cast iron and the non-stick set. That'll do pretty much everything that I needed to do most of the time.
Cool.
Yeah. Any questions or comments before I move on?
Yeah, there's a couple comments about cookware really quick here. For starters, Karen says, awesome, love it, you're the bomb. Coach Angela Mullins is here with us.
Hey, Angela, how are you?
She says, I have my grandma's cast iron pans.
Those are the best. There's nothing better than a cast iron pan that's been handed down for like 100 years through a family.
Yes.
Just, it seriously is the absolute best. They also don't make cast iron that quality anymore anywhere that I've really seen, unless you want to spend stupid amounts of money. So hold on to that and take care of it and treasure it, because that's really something special.
Yeah. Emily also says, I love cooking with cast iron.
Yes.
I have to bring in an extra fan, though. My smoke detectors are annoyingly sensitive.
Yes, that's the only downside to it. But unfortunately, that's just kind of what cooking properly does anyway. Whether it's cast iron or not, that's just kind of what it does. It's sort of, it's tough in the modern era where we have smoke detectors. It is hard to cook properly when not in an industrial kitchen without setting off a smoke detector. Because if you do it right, it's going to create smoke. That's why they have those big, huge vent fans over the stoves in restaurants.
Yeah. Also, Stacy and Ken are here.
Hello, Stacy and Ken.
She says hello to all, the sweetest. And Chris Bear says, Sigh, apparently I need to head over to the Keto Chow warehouse to turn off the alarm. Catch you all later.
Oh, bummer. I'm sorry, Chris. Well, good luck with that.
Yeah, and Brother Barry Weems is here saying good evening.
Hey, Brother Barry. How we doing, my friend?
And your mom is funny. She's saying she fesses up and that it was her that used her paring knife and probably didn't clean it all the way. Then she says...
That's all good.
She didn't use the cast iron, though, so the grease is not her fault.
Yeah, no, the grease in the cast iron is probably my fault. So.
Yeah, well, we'll blame you. And she says, I did use this Sensarte. I loved it, and it looks like I got that one washed well. So
yes.
There you go.
Yes, those are good pans. Those are good. So
that's awesome. What's next, baby?
All right, so next is a still cookware, but sort of adjacent to the 2 styles of cookware. If you have the money, or if you already have the other kind of cookware and you're like, hey, this is kind of my next step. Or if you really like doing certain kinds of things like roasts and stews and chilies and fried things like the fried chicken that might be coming this coming Saturday, the carnivore fried chicken. You heard it here first. This is a enameled cast iron Dutch oven. So I originally got this back when Ash and I owned a bakery and I didn't know what keto and carnivore even was, and I was making sourdough bread all the time. And so I got this to bake these big loaves of sourdough bread, and it does do a fantastic job of that. But what I soon realized after we went low carb and we're not making bread anymore is that there is nothing quite like a Dutch oven for stews and soups and chilies, and when I do my carnivore fried chicken and these kinds of things, because the enamel coating, which mine has been sorely abused for many years because of all of the bread that I used to bake, so it is a little dark in the bottom, but it's fine, it still works. The enamel coating on the inside of this keeps things from sticking to it and makes it clean really, really well for something like this. But it is very heavy, and it is very good at retaining residual heat. So because of the lid, you can also do some really cool things like braising. And when you do something like a pot roast, for a long time, well, first of all, I used to use a pressure cooker. And my pot roast always came out tough and stringy. And then I realized it's because a pressure cooker is not the best option for a pot roast. I'm sorry if you like doing it in a pressure cooker, that's cool. I love you. You're still wrong, but I love you. A pressure cooker cooks things by making it it makes the higher temperature of water to boil. So it makes the boiling temperature of water go up via creating higher pressure, which means that the liquid inside of a roast can cook to a higher temperature before steaming out. This does soften the collagen and break down the meat fibers, but it also sets the proteins at a higher temperature, which is why they squeeze tight and they become stringy and dry. That's what a pressure cooker does. I then switched to a slow cooker when I kind of understood this, and I started doing pot roast in a slow cooker because it cooks at a lower temperature for a longer period of time, and you get a tender and juicy roast that way. But then I recognized that chefs in France have been doing braised meat for as long as any of us can remember, since long probably before even Escoffier decided to write Le Guide Culinaire and talk about how all Western chefs should learn to cook. And when you learn how to braise meat and you start using something like a Dutch oven, because of the residual heat, the low temperature in your oven, the steam that is being created by keeping liquid and meat inside of something like that, and the slow breakdown of the collagen, the gelatin, the proteins that exist, you get the most fall apart, buttery, tender things like chuck roast or pot roast or any of these other kinds of meats that would be slow cooked like that you can possibly get. Oxtail stew, which is going to be in my cookbook. Let's see, there's a whole bunch of things. You can stew a chicken that way. There's all kinds of things you can do with a Dutch oven like that. And there is no other piece of cookware that will do what it can do. The closest I've gotten is the slow cooker, but even then, a crock pot just doesn't do it. It just does not do the same thing, which is why French chefs, and specifically French grandmothers, have been using the Dutch oven for, I don't even know how long, to cook tough cuts of meat to make them tender and fall apart juicy, which on a carnivore diet or a keto diet, that's an especially useful skill to have. So I have a beautiful Dutch oven. I don't even think they make this one anymore, but I have a beautiful Dutch oven very similar to this, linked for you guys in the description box that Ash has also dropped in the chat. That is I believe it's Mueller is how it's pronounced. That is a company that makes good Dutch ovens, and they are on a stupidly good deal right now. So definitely go pick one of those up if you're into that kind of a thing.
Yes.
Yes. So that's our Dutch oven.
I love it.
Yeah.
It seems like we have a lot of Dutch oven fans in the house.
Yes.
GGB says, I have that red pan in blue. I love it.
Yes.
Karen says, OMG, I love my Dutch cast iron pot. Heaven.
Yes.
Purple Oven Donna is here with us.
Hey, Debbie.
Says, I use my Dutch oven to make my bacon chips.
Love it.
Woohoo. And Angela Mullen says, I love bacon chips. Yeah, who doesn't?
Yep.
And Karen says, well, always wanted to learn about pressure cooking. Nope, not anymore. I'll take a longer process. It's so funny. And I'd bring this comment back up. You were talking about how you used to bake a lot of sourdough.
Yeah.
Back in the day, when people were asking about your training, if you were a chef or not.
Yeah.
Emily says he also had a bakery at one point. Don't let him fool you.
Yeah. And that was also all self-taught too. That's,
Yeah.
I mean, that's the kind of thing Ash would wake up, and at 3 in the morning, she would see me sitting there in bed next to her watching YouTube videos that I had to have subtitles on because it was all in French, and it was like artisan bread makers in France talking about the baguettes that their family has made, sourdough baguettes their family has made for the last 200 years.
Yeah.
Like, that's the kind of stuff I used to do. So that's the level to which I will do that stuff. So, yeah. So I have to say, I'm not in any way knocking the pressure cooker. There are things that a pressure cooker will do an incredible job of. Veggies, specifically. If you wanted to do, like, cabbage, or you wanted to do something like, you want to do, like, corned beef and cabbage. Like, it does a great job of that kind of thing. So there are things a pressure cooker can do. And there are times where I just don't have the time to do the slow cooker method for 4 to 5 hours in the oven. I need it done in an hour in the pressure cooker, and so that's what I'll do. So it can be done. It just depends on what you like.
Nike 2422 is here joining us.
Hey, Nike.
They say pressure cooking is good for canning food.
Yes, that's a really good way to use it. You can also do things like, I know there are people that steam eggs, to do hard-boiled eggs in a pressure cooker. I have an easy peel egg method that I don't really feel the need to, but some people really like it for that. There's a lot of different things that a pressure cooker can do. So
Totally.
Not to poo-poo on a pressure cooker. It's just not the right way to cook meat most of the time. So.
Yeah. Do you have time for 2 more quick comments?
Yeah,
Maybe a
absolutely.
question? Sunny Chronicle says, good evening, Chris
Hey,
and Ash.
Sunny.
Glad you're here. Sherry Nevada Pup wants to know, did you let your sourdough starter die out?
I did a long time ago.
It's been dead for quite some time.
Yes, we had a sourdough starter for a long time, and I fed it and I kept it, and I had some of it frozen in case I ever needed to revitalize it. And we started doing keto, and I just kind of got to a point where I sort of realized that I love sourdough bread. I love that kind of stuff. I just wasn't going to eat it regularly. Like, I'm not going to say I'm never going to eat it again, but it's probably going to be like a once a year kind of thing now. And I just couldn't see a reason to do the work of feeding and keeping a sourdough starter alive to be used one time a year.
Yeah.
So it's just not a thing that I do anymore. I really miss it. I really enjoyed making sourdough. Ash can tell you how much just the process and having my hands on the bread dough and understanding the fermentation and understanding the interactions and the baking and like figuring out humidity and temperature of the atmosphere where I was baking and like the oven that I was using when I would go from one oven to another. Like there were so many elements of that I nerded out really hardcore, and she was always just like shaking her head like, okay, yeah, sure, that sounds great. I really got into it. And so I do miss doing that. And I had a bunch of really inventive ways. I mean, you guys have seen my keto and carnivore recipes. You know I like being inventive and doing crazy things. I had chocolate bread, and I had jalapeno cheddar, and I had blueberry cream, and I had like a red, white, and blue that was flavored like strawberry, grape, and vanilla. There was a sandwich bread for PB&Js. And like, I mean, I had all kinds of crazy stuff that I did. The Cherry Garcia, the chocolate cherry bread that I made, that was incredible. Like, I mean, there were so many things, and I miss getting to do it because it was so fun. But it's just not good for us. It's just not. Outside of survival food, it's just not good for us. And so, like, once a year, maybe I have something like that. It just wasn't worth keeping it alive for that. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Just a nice comment I'll read real quick and we can get back to our list. But Karen says, you guys make the people watching happy and feel good vibes that you notice their comments.
Oh, well, we try. I mean, listen, I am just like you guys. I may be the one on this side of the camera, but I'm just like you guys, and I appreciate more than I can ever put into words you guys supporting what I do and being here and letting me teach you what I know, because teaching is how I say I love you. Teaching and cooking for people. It's the 2 things that I love to do. I'll teach you everything that I know, and I will make sure you are well fed before you leave my house. That's like the 2 most important things to me. So having the opportunity to do this and use my skills in a way that helps other people, it makes me really happy. And the only reason I get to do that is because of all of you guys watching. So I really try my very best to make sure that we are acknowledging that you guys are here and that we are a community and we are a big family, because we really love you guys. And I just want to be able to help you however I can. So
Absolutely.
Thank you for saying that.
Very sweet.
Yeah.
And I may mess up this name, but I do believe it is Terrace is watching from Texas. Going back to the beginning, so don't miss anything.
Ah, very, very cool. Love it. Glad you're here.
Yeah, and Marty says we can attest to the being well fed.
Yes, yes. There's a reason that when I was doing the cookbook recipes and taking pictures that we were inviting people that we knew in the community over to help us eat the food, because I love feeding people.
And Emily says, can confirm, if you leave their house hungry, that's your fault.
Yeah, if you leave our house hungry, it's because you didn't try.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yes.
Well, what's next, babe?
Okay.
What else you got over there?
Yeah, we've only got a couple more things. So first of all, we're going to talk thermometers. There's different versions of this. I have the gold Typhor Sync meat probe thermometer linked for you guys, the dual. You can also get the 4 thermometer. It's up to you. This is the silver, the one they had before the gold. Any of them work, but go check out the gold. It does have a higher temperature capability, so I would recommend just going with the gold. It's a little bit of extra money, but I think it's worth it in case you want to use this on a grill or someplace it gets real hot. Meat probe thermometers. This one is the Sync Quad, so it's got 4 meat probes that are wireless, that can be plugged in, charged, and then stuck into various cuts of meat, so that you can track the temperature of whatever you're cooking, and you can hook your phone up to it and track it wirelessly. So I can be going out and walking around the neighborhood with my beautiful wife and puppy dog, and I can be going, oh yeah, that brisket that's in the oven, it's about done. We should probably head back. It looks like it's going to be done in about 15 minutes according to the thermometer. That kind of stuff is fantastic. And you know, the truth is, chefs all around the world would rather know exactly what's going on rather than guess. So I think that steak is done. I'm pretty sure that steak is done. Gosh, I hope that steak is done properly. I spent $75 on this incredible prime tomahawk ribeye steak, and it's on my grill. Man, I sure hope I'm not overcooking that or undercooking that. Don't guess. You stick a probe thermometer in it and you go, okay, I like my steak at 122 degrees because by the time I take it off the grill and I get carryover cooking, it's going to end up about 130. It's exactly where I want my steak at, so I'm going to pull it at the exact right time. I'm going to let it rest for 5 minutes. Oh, look at that. It hit 129, 130 degrees. Perfect. It's dinner time and I know that steak is going to be perfect. That is a really big confidence booster, especially if you want to go out and treat yourself to a really nice steak or a really nice piece of fish or, I don't know, anything. You know, you want to make sure your meatloaf is done in the center perfectly. Like, there's so many ways to use something like this, but don't guess. Time and oven temperature are a guide, but they are not an exact science because the temperature of your meat, the density, the thickness, the hydration level, the various ingredients you've included, so many variables can affect how something is going to cook in the oven. And if you don't have a probe thermometer stuck inside of it, you are guessing. Some things you get a little bit more leeway on. Dark meat chicken, you can cook it a little bit higher and it's not going to become a problem. You get that up to 175, even pushing to 180, that's still going to taste really good. You put a chicken breast in there and you take it over 165 and suddenly it's accidentally 175, you're eating shoe leather. And it is not good. So it is best to always know exactly where your food is. Nothing does a better job than that for that than a probe thermometer. This is a fantastic tool to have. And along those same lines, an instant read thermometer. Same concept, you want to know exactly what temperature something is, but this, you just fold it open and you just get an instant read on what something is. So there you can see I'm up at about, 90 some degrees with my fingers there. So this is fantastic. If you're going to heat up beef tallow and my carnivore fried chicken that's coming Saturday, you're going to want to know that it's the right temperature. That's a really great way. Dip it in, know exactly where it is, give it a second. Yep, that's the right temperature. It's time to fry. That is a really fantastic tool to be able to just grab, temp, yes, that's good, put it back, and you're done. Especially things like butter. If you're making my poached egg mayo or my poached egg hollandaise, you're trying to temp something specifically like that. There's all kinds of ways that an instant read thermometer will make your life so much easier. So,
love it.
Thermometers.
Thermometers are handy, man.
Thermometers are great.
Yes. Nike T422 says the Thanksgiving turkey is done. I used my thermometer for that.
Yes, absolutely. Turkey is a great example. If you do not know exactly what temp your turkey is, you can very quickly over or undercook a turkey and either poison your guests or make your guests go, you have some more gravy for this?
Yeah.
Like, it's not a good experience. Like, you want to see something that can very realistically happen to you very quickly, go watch National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation and watch them all trying to eat the super dried out turkey. Now, the turkey may have been made a little bit more dramatic because that's not really what those turkeys look like when they're dry. However, they're sitting there and crunching and trying to figure out how to get that down and needing gravy and everything. That is absolutely real. I've sat at tables and watched it happen to people. Don't be that person. Get yourself a thermometer and cook your turkey right.
Yeah.
Or your prime rib, or your ribeye steaks, or your filet mignon.
All the things.
I
like it.
Salmon, whatever.
Karen says, Ash, thanks for the link for the temp probe. My pleasure.
Yep.
Here to serve. Let's see here. And Emily says, I love my Typhor thermometers. I use them just about every day.
They are incredible. Mm-hmm. They really, really are.
Miriam's so sweet. She says, we've eaten your food. It was amazing.
Oh, you guys are very sweet. We had such a good time with you all here.
We did. I wish y'all lived closer. We'd have you over like once a week. Sherry says, sourdough is my kryptonite. I had a feeling you let it go. It's just not on our menu anymore. Mm-hmm. Here's your challenge. Figure out how to make a sourdough carnivore bread.
Oh, believe me, the idea is in my head. getting the right texture and flavor of that is a very, very, very hard thing to do, even with regular bread, let alone carnivore bread. But I will always be thinking and seeing what I can do.
Yeah. Let's see. Karen says, oops, I had a wrong temp probe for my turkey this year. Said it was done. Nope, it was a little undercooked. LOL. Sorry, folks. Dinner is a little late.
Yeah. So the other thing you have to realize too with like temp probes like that, you have to make sure they're inserted in the right part. So you want it in the thickest part of whatever it is you're temping, but you don't want it against the bone. You want it in the meat, but in the thickest part of the meat. So it can take a little bit of finessing sometimes to know if it's in exactly the right spot, but it happens. It's all part of learning in the kitchen.
Yeah. All right, so we talked about thermometers. What's your next goodie on Cyber Monday deals?
While we are on the subject of Typhor, they have this incredible Typhor Sync oven. They have the Typhor Sync air fryer, both of which come with those wireless probes attached. So if you're looking to get a probe, but you also need an air fryer or you need a countertop oven, just go get one of those. You can totally check those out. But if you are not looking for one of those specific sync things, my favorite thing of theirs is this Typhor Dome 2 air fryer, because everybody needs a good air fryer in the kitchen. There is nothing better, save a very long, day-long process of trying to make chicken wings, that will do chicken wings better than an air fryer. The only other way that I've ever done it that's better literally took me like 9 hours, and it was, remember how difficult that was when I did it?
It was really rough.
They were incredible, but it is not worth the expenditure of time and energy. So an air fryer, in my opinion, is the best way to do chicken wings. There's a lot of other things you can do in an air fryer quickly, burger patties, and I'm working on a few other recipes. Now, Typhor does have the Typhor Sync air fryer, which is more of the basket style air fryer, if that's what you prefer. Me personally, there's very few things that will not fit in this style air fryer, and this is my favorite. So the Dome air fryer has a dome shape because the airflow is actually meant to work with that dome shape and create kind of a vortex, sort of a circular thing, so you get a better, more even cooking of the surface. That's part of the science of why they do this, and it's why they're not in any way sponsoring this video, but I'm still talking about it so much because it's my favorite air fryer I've ever used. This tray that is in this air fryer, it is not super deep, but there's pretty much nothing that I haven't been able to air fry in this, save a whole chicken, unless I spatchcock it and I press it flat, which I do that all the time. So that's not a problem either. This air fryer, though, does a better job of just about any air fried food than any other air fryer I've ever used. So they're not paying me to say it. I'm telling you, this is the one that lives in my kitchen. I use this, 3 times a week?
If not every day.
If not every day, at least probably 3 times a week. And that's like, I'm gonna throw frozen burger patties in here and I'm gonna make dinner real quick for us. It is, we had some friends over and I did a frozen pizza for them. It's not something I eat, but you know, they did. So I did a frozen pizza in here, did a great job. When I did my pizza recipe, my carnivore pizza crust recipe that I did for our buddy Scotty, I did that carnivore pizza recipe in this air fryer. It does such an amazing job with all kinds of things. I don't do steak in the air fryer. I know people have said it's great, and if more power to you, if that's how you like it, that's awesome. I don't. But if you're one of those people who does, I bet this would do a better job of it than whatever air fryer you've probably been using. So this is a fantastic air fryer. If you're not gonna get this one, consider getting the Typhor Sync so you can have that little probe that goes along with it that's automatically synced up, and that is the basket style. Either one of them are absolutely incredible. So, and I like the Tasty air fryer too. I did just do a video for Tasty and it does a good job, absolutely. I am just pretty partial to Typhor.
Yeah.
It's just the way they work. I just love their stuff. So Typhor air fryer, specifically this is the Dome 2, which has a heating element in the top and also the bottom. So you can actually grill things from underneath as well.
Pretty cool.
Really, really cool. Does a great job with sausages.
Ooh,
like
yes.
grilled sausages. Mm-hmm. Yeah, amazing.
Couple questions as we're talking about air fryers, which I feel like is a part of every carnivore's kitchen, as it should be. Nike says, I have never seen this kind of air fryer before.
Mm-hmm. It's really, really cool.
It's it looks very futuristic. It looks cool. Gigi B has a question. She says, will food fly around in there? Think bread or bacon slices. Light food gets stuck up in my Ninja.
No. It does not fly around in there. I've never had anything fly around or get stuck. I think because it's so shallow and because the vortex that is created, it doesn't need nearly as much wind speed because the directional sort of circular movement means it's more even in terms of cooking, so it does not blow anything around. The only thing I've ever had it blow around is parchment paper, which is just super lightweight, obviously. I've never had it blow anything else around.
Yeah.
So.
And I've cleaned it many a times and never seen nothing. It's great. It really is.
It's awesome. It also has an automatic cleaning function.
Oh, yeah.
So you can plug it in. You go in the app in your phone. You can only do it through your phone, so you can't like accidentally turn it on or something on there and walk away from it. You can only do it on your phone. You turn on the automatic cleaning function, and it burns all the stuff out of the top element. I have never had issues with smoke or any kind of weird junk getting up in there. It has always done fantastic for us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So,
always.
I actually have two of them. I have the Dome 2, and in the attic I have the Dome 1, and I love both of them. But the Dome 2 has the dual heating element, so that's the one I would recommend. That's the one that I've linked in the description for you guys.
Sweet. GGB says, good to know.
Mm-hmm.
And Dennis is here joining us, by the way.
Hey, Dennis, what's up?
Late to the party, but hey, glad you're here.
Yeah.
And then let's see here. Emily says, I have a Ninja 2 and I have lost a few pepperonis trying to fry them. Worth it though, ha ha ha. Yeah.
There you go.
And GGB says that my Ninja smokes when that happens. So yeah.
I've never had a smoking issue with this at all.
No, definitely not.
Yeah.
I believe we have one more item left.
We got one more, and this is a great time of year to buy this because there's great deals on these, and that is a wood cutting board.
Yeah.
Now, I have had more people freak out on me over meat on a wooden cutting board. And here's the reality of this. There was a test that was done, and I forget where this was done. Forgive me, I don't remember the exact citation, but I remember reading about this. There was a test that was done, like a laboratory test, where they put juice from raw chicken on a plastic cutting board, on a glass cutting board, on a wood cutting board, and I think on some other material that they had. So like composite and glass and wood and all this kind of stuff. First of all, do not use metal cutting boards. Do not use glass cutting boards. They will destroy the edge of your knife. If you have them in your kitchen, I'm sorry for whatever money you spent on them. Throw them in the trash because that is where they belong. You do not use your knives on on glass or stone or metal. Don't do that. You will destroy your knives doing that. So do not do that. You use plastic composites or you use wood with your sharp knives. That's it. They did this test, and within about 5 minutes, I believe it was, all of the bacteria that was left over from that chicken juice that they wiped on it was still alive and well on plastic. It was still alive and well on glass. It was still alive and well on whatever it was, maybe like a stone type cutting board or something like that. And it was dead on the wood, because wood is naturally antibacterial. You can also treat it with a mineral oil, like a food grade mineral oil, and that repels moisture from the cutting board. So it's not going to absorb any of that. It's on the surface. So they're very easy to clean. They're very good for your knife edge. They're going to sustain your knife's sharp edge as long as possible. Not going to destroy it. And bacteria on your wood cutting board, as long as you immediately wash it after putting raw meat on it, and you dry it thoroughly, is not a concern. It is actually one of the best things you can do. And you don't have to worry about microplastics in your food. I do still use plastic cutting boards that are foldable a little bit here and there, but I try to limit that as much as possible. If I could afford it, I'd just have a huge stack of wood cutting boards and a big butcher block and all that, and that's where all of my meat would get cut as well. So a really good wood cutting board. And don't get the little tiny things like this where you're like trying to chop little, don't do that to yourself. Please don't do that to yourself. Get a serious manly wooden cutting board, maybe one that has a big deep juice groove on the sides like that. Cut your meat like a man. Even if you're a woman, cut your meat like a man. Get a big cutting board and do it right and act like you got some balls.
What if you're a woman and you want to cut meat, but you don't want to cut meat like a man? What if you want to show off your lady balls? and just get a nice big cutting board.
I mean, listen, if you got big lady balls and you want to get a big cutting board, that works too.
There you go.
That works too.
That works too. I like it. I like it.
Big wood cutting board. This is made of bamboo. The one that I've linked is made of bamboo. You can get other wood materials, but there is a really nice sale on the bamboo cutting board that I have linked, and there are different sizes of it you can get. Just make sure, about to lose my microphone here.
Uh-oh.
There we go. Just make sure that your cutting board is not one of those rinky-dinky little things that's like you're trying to cut on what feels like a playing card. You know,
Yeah.
Get yourself a real cutting board because it will serve you so well. I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 5 wood cutting boards in the kitchen, 3 of which I use regularly. One is the beautiful decorative CCN cutting board that Cindy and Brian made for us. And then one is like a specialty serving board that I don't cut things on. So I've got 3 main like wood cutting boards that I use all the time.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Yep.
Have a second for a couple of questions here, babe?
Absolutely.
So Karen wants to know, babe, sorry, going back to the air fryers for a second. So the Typhor over there has the self-cleaning function that cleans the inside.
Yep.
Do you know if the other models or types do?
Are you talking about like the Typhor sink air fryer, the basket style? I don't think it does. Although to be honest, I haven't really looked that deep into it, so it may. In fact, it wouldn't surprise me if it does. I just don't know specifically if it does. Also, with that deeper basket design, that's probably not going to be as much of an issue with that one. So I would have to double check it. But it would surprise me if it doesn't, though, actually, as I think about that, because Typhor knows their stuff. Like, they're pretty good about knowing exactly how to do that. And quite honestly, if it doesn't, what you could do is you could run that air fryer at the max temperature for like 60 minutes. And it would do the same thing. But I bet anything it does.
Yeah, I can probably Google it and see.
I would not be surprised.
I have to say, when we got this Typhor over here that Chris was showing you all, the one that he put the Cyber Monday deal on.
The Dome 2.
With the Dome 2, when we first got this one, I was like, we don't need another air fryer. We had like 5 in our house at the time. And then he showed me that self-cleaning function, and I had never seen that before. Like, no other air fryer had it. And I was like, this is the one we're keeping.
Yep.
It's so cool. And then Rebecca Harmon has a question.
Yeah.
Going back to the wooden cutting boards and all. What about wooden plates?
Yeah, I mean, you can totally get wooden plates. And the thing with wooden plates is you have to be careful because sometimes they make them decorative more than they do functional. And when you start to cut things on them, they get scratched up really bad because they put coatings and things on them. But you can get some high quality wooden plates, absolutely. I would imagine that our ancestors for thousands of years probably ate off of wood and stone and all kinds of different things that they would put their food on. So sure, I don't think that would be a bad thing at all.
Yeah, and I just used the internet to find out about the air fryer. So it is only the Dome and the Dome 2 from Typhor that have the self-cleaning functions.
Gotcha. Yeah. I'm telling you, the Dome and Dome 2 are just superior products. They really are. Now, if you want the sink, the Typhor sink air fryer, like I said, it doesn't have that cleaning function, but you could run it at the highest temperature, which I think is 450, for like 60 minutes. And you could even do that twice if you needed to, and that would do roughly the same thing. So, but
Nice.
Also with that deeper basket, it's probably not going to be as big of an issue for you.
That's awesome. Karen says, wow, cool. I'll try that for my fryer. Just hate the grease feel.
Yeah.
And then Sherry says, big lady. And she puts a whole bunch of balls.
There you go.
You're funny, Sherry. Karen wants to know, should I sand my cutting boards or is that just bad?
I mean, if they're rough and they're beaten up, you can totally sand them and then treat them with a food grade mineral oil again. The only reason that I would suggest sanding them is if you have like big divots where it's like chunks of the cutting board that have gotten cut out because it's just been beaten to pieces for so many years. But if you have a generally level cutting surface, I just don't think there's any reason to. Just every now and then, like once a month, treat it with like a food grade mineral oil. You wipe it down with that mineral oil and then use a dry cloth and you wipe as much of it off as you possibly can. Let it air dry overnight. You're good to go.
Yeah. Cool.
Make sure it's really nice and clean and dry before you do that. But yeah, that's it.
Sweet. Well, babe, I think we're at the end of the comments and the questions.
Okay.
Anything else you want to say to these fine folks before we head on out?
Well, like I told you guys, carnivore fried chicken, I don't think I made it obvious enough. Carnivore fried chicken is coming on Saturday.
What time?
And that's going to be amazing. 10:45 a.m. Central Standard Time.
Yeah.
So if you... Now, here's the thing. I have had so many people tell me, oh, I make carnivore fried chicken. I take chicken and I roll it in pork crumbs and I fry it, and it's the best thing I've ever had. And I love those people, but they're wrong. I love them so much, and they're so wrong. I have tasted that. I have done that. I've got various versions of things like chicken tenders, or I've used pork panko, and it does taste good. It does not taste like Southern style fried chicken. Not even close. My recipe is a true buttermilk Southern fried chicken style fried chicken.
Without all the carbs.
Without the carbs. So regular fried chicken has, depending on the recipe and depending on how heavy the breading is and how big the piece is and all this kind of stuff, regular fried chicken has somewhere in the range of 15 to 20 grams of carbs per piece of chicken. And it may have more if they're using sugar or different things in the seasoning mixture. My fried chicken has anywhere, depending on which method you use, has anywhere from half of a gram to 1.5 grams of carbs per piece of fried chicken. And it is crispy, and it is brown, and it is juicy, and it tastes like Southern fried chicken. And I threw in a little special shout out to Emily with a little bit of a tweak that I show you, a little bit of a Nashville special with it as well. So you guys have to tune in and see what that is. It is incredible. It is one of the best carnivore recipes I've ever created, I think. I still have some left over in the refrigerator right now. I might have to eat some of it cold. And that's the thing, just like regular fried chicken, it's good cold just as good as it is hot. Mm-hmm. So what did you think of it?
What did I think of it?
Yeah.
I think it tasted like heaven.
Yeah.
I was all about it. So good.
And I have guest taste testers on that video, so.
You do. Absolutely. Emily says so much teasing.
Yep.
Yeah, babe, lots of people seem like they're really excited for that fried chicken.
It's going to be fantastic. Now, you're going to have fried chicken. You're going to have carnivore mashed potatoes. You're going to have gravy. So you're going to be able to do fried chicken, mashed potatoes, gravy. I've got cornbread. I've got biscuits. Like, guys, I'm knocking it all out here. I'm trying to, give us options and get this going. That's what we're working on. So that's coming Saturday. All of the links for all of the stuff we talked about tonight are in the description box. Ash has been dropping them in the chat. So if you didn't catch one in the chat, or if you want to go back, if you're watching the replays, whatever, that's in the description for you. So.
And Crow has a great question. Yet again, what time on Saturday does that fried chicken video drop?
10:45 a.m. Central.
Boom, boom. Get ready.
That's 11:45 a.m. on the East Coast, and that's 8:45 a.m. on the West Coast, if I'm doing my math correctly. I think so.
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah.
And Emily says, yes, hot chicken. Let's go. Very excited.
Yes, you guys got to tune in and see how that's done.
Yeah. Sherry says, yum, yum, fried chicken. You are talking my language.
Yes, I'm talking my language too. That's the thing. Everybody has to realize, like, I make these recipes to help other people, but I make them to help me too. So.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, Dennis has a good question.
What's up?
Fried chicken has good cold, has hot? Yes, because I had it cold. I had it cold and I had it hot.
Yeah.
Just as good.
Yeah,
Just as good.
I think it's just as good. It's just, it's like regular fried chicken. It's different hot than it is cold, and so it depends on which way you like it. But yeah, it's as good cold as it is hot. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Awesome. Cool, babe. Well, yeah, this Saturday. Can't wait.
Yep.
It's going to be so good.
It's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
Anything that I forgot or anything else we need to touch on?
Yeah, so you've had a QR code up here on the screen during the live stream.
Yep, it should be in that corner over there.
Yep.
Yep.
It's there. What is that for? What do we do with it?
That is for our private community called The Band. We do extra recipes. We do private live streams. I have some stuff I'm going to be giving away. Like, I have a really nice electric cooktop, like 2-burner cooktop upstairs we're going to be giving away. Some other stuff we're going to give away as well. We do all kinds of things over there, community support, and once the cookbook comes out, that is going to be our next project to start adding extra resources on top of what we already have over there. It's going to be really, really cool. So you can use your phone if you're watching this on a TV. You can scan that QR code, just open up your camera on your cell phone, point it right there, and it'll pop up a little button you can use to go straight to that.
I also just put the link to join the band in the chat.
Look at that.
In case you're not as tech savvy as some people, I got
There you go.
I got your back.
There you go. So it's in the chat. It's also that QR code right there. Or you can just go to chriscookingnashville.com and there's a big button at the top that says join the band. And that'll take you to that page as well. We would love to have you guys in the private community. It's really amazing and we support each other over there on our journey. And we're all just working together to try to get better at this whole proper human diet lifestyle so we can all address the health issues that brought us here in the first place. And we can be supportive and do it together as a family.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
Cool.
Awesome.
Well, let's get it on up. Let's get it on
All
up.
right. Well, guys, thank you so much for watching. Go pick up some of these amazing things while they are on sale today. Today is when you got to do it because those cyber deals go away and suddenly things get more expensive again. So if you need some early Christmas presents for some people, you need to buy some things that you're going to give them around Christmas time. Got a cook in the family that would like this kind of stuff. Any one of these things would be a fantastic gift for somebody, and some of them are very reasonably priced, like 20, 30 bucks. So go grab yourself some of this stuff and check out that QR code or the link in the chat to come join the band, and we'll see you on Saturday for carnivore fried chicken, like real Southern style fried chicken, the real stuff.
Yum.
And it's going to be fantastic. So appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for watching. We love every single one of you. This is Chris Cooking Nashville, the beautiful Ash Taylor. She's over there behind the camera waving at you guys. You guys remember, eat your meat, love your life, maybe outfit your kitchen during Cyber Monday deals today. And we'll see you here in the kitchen for more things like this, recipes and live streams and all kinds of stuff in the studio, on the road, who knows where else, to support you guys on your proper human diet lifestyle. You guys have a great week. Hope you all had a wonderful Thanksgiving, and let's gear up for the holidays.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, y'all.